more gaming specific questions?
Yeah, feel free to. I mean, you have the question list, so if there are any questions you want to start answering first, and then just completely hand it off to me, that's fine for me. Up to you. You're flexible.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. So we have in front of us the question list that everyone has sent in, and then Jun's nicely color-coded it, so I have some blue questions. So I'll go through it one by one, and then we'll hand it off to Jun. So maybe just in terms of a broader update before we actually go into the questions. Obviously, I think everyone has seen the mini game come out. Everyone has seen the 3D NFTs come out. We will have the alpha long form video come out in the next couple of days. And then breeding will follow very shortly, the week after as well. As far as I'm aware, as of now, we're the only Solana project out there, Play to Earn project, who's actually actively meeting our deadlines. Obviously, that's a tremendous effort, right? And a testimony to the fact that, our devs are working really hard. Everyone is working very, very hard. But no, like all of the core team basically hasn't taken a day off for the last 6 months, right? But we're playing in the big league, right? And so we're doing this because we're very passionate about this project. We're very passionate about what we're doing. And there's a lot of great, I think, benefits. There's a goal that we're trying to reach here, right? Which is to be the number one and largest play to earn game, not just of Solana, but hopefully of the wider blockchain space as well. And so, obviously, having hit our deadlines in terms of the game actual launch, and making sure that we continue doing that is very, very important. Obviously, with once we have the playable alpha out in the next month or two, and then the full game and the beta and the full game later in the year, that's when we're really going to take off. I think I'll talk a little bit about what's going on with Catheon, and I think there's a question about Catheon in just a second. But I want to say it's really brilliant work that the dev team has been able to do over the last few months, as well as obviously the work of the community in terms of building it. I know obviously it's been tough on the fixed token price because we haven't had a use case or a real use case up until now. That will change when breeding comes out, because you will have to actually pay a fixed token in order to breed, right? But obviously, since December, we've had 4 months without a good use case, right? We've had the wider cryptocurrency go down, and that's been reflected in our price. But long term, I think, the key thing is to remember that we are building towards the use case. We've seen what happens when you have a token price supported by, hype, right? It doesn't really last long, right? But when you can actually build a game and a very clear use case for your token, we fully expect, with the use case and hopefully over the next, 12 to 18 months, we're still strong long-term believers in cryptocurrency going up. So, I think the combination of that will put a positive pressure on the price on a go-forward basis. So, I hear the comments, but rest assured, I think, we're now at the tipping point. I feel where we've made a lot of progress. We will have a use case, and hopefully also the general cryptocurrency market improves. But either way, even if it doesn't improve, right, we will have a use case for our token, which will drive the price. So with that said, let's get into the questions. So there's a great question. I'll start with this one because this question has come up quite a bit, and I just want to address it because I feel like a lot of people who looking outside in, they don't really understand what's actually happening. So the question is, I invested in SolChicks not just for the awesome game, but also because I believe in William and Lewis and the team. The experience with business problem solving and fixing. My fear is that most of the attention is going into Catheon Gaming and not so much SolChicks. Is there anything you can tell us to give us confidence in the strategic systems that will trickle down from Catheon Gaming into the SolChicks project procedures? So let me answer this one, because I think this is a great example of, maybe here we haven't communicated what we're working on, because these things take time. But now I think we're in a position to give you guys a bit more flavor to, why this is so beneficial. Obviously, before I've talked to you guys about, hey, if there's other learnings from other games, we get the benefit of that, right? But let me give you 4 very specific reasons or, benefits that the SolChicks project gets as a result of us working and spending time on Catheon Gaming as an entity rather than just SolChicks, right? Yeah. And the reason I say it is because, these benefits, none of our competitors have, right? If you look at Ori, they definitely won't have the benefits that I'm going to talk about in just a second. If you look at any of our games, CryoWar, GenoPets, they won't have these benefits, right? And there's no way they could replicate these type of benefits the way they currently are operating. So that gives us a very, very competitive edge. So what are the benefits? Let me talk about 4 very, very specific benefits, right? So number 1, we have signed in the Catheon Gaming portfolio agreements with games that have, in combined over the last couple of months, well in excess of roughly about 11 games to be precise, that have, from a traditional game user perspective, 110 million downloads altogether, right? And daily or monthly average users in the traditional games are in excess of 1 million combined, right? That's a tremendous amount of infrastructure, of people playing the game, of, recognition of brands that you would never be able, that we get access to as SolChicks. So when these projects are launched officially, we're going to start getting the benefit of their traditional gaming audience also being able to see SolChicks as a game when they go play the game, right? That's over 100 million, 100 million downloads over, I don't even know the exact precise numbers, but it's definitely in the millions of daily active users, currently daily active users. Like, that's an amazing benefit, right? Some of the games we have in portfolio, I can't quite say because they've been still finalized in terms of agreements. But these are games that are some of the most popular games in the world, based on the most popular animes in the world, or have, legacy track records of 15 years plus, right? SolChicks gets the benefit of all of that, right? Because as those games come into play to earn, we're going to be putting SolChicks right in front of those audiences, left and right? And that will give us a push into traditional gaming audiences that no other play to earn game currently. Right, that's number 1. Number 2, we are actually, and this is still very, very confidential, but we've signed roughly about a month and a half ago a new CEO figure who is probably one of the most leading game experts out there in the world. I can't give too many details yet, but he'll be starting in about a month's time. He's going to be the SolChicks CEO and the simultaneous Catheon Gaming CEO. He comes from one of the biggest gaming companies in the world, running one of their biggest, biggest divisions, right? Originally, when I tried to get him on board, and I've asked him to be the SolChicks CEO because he's got way more gaming experience than me, right? And, 20 years plus, he knows everyone in the industry. He's literally an industry guru, right? So he said, no, I can't be just SolChicks CEO because that's a single game title. And, that's not what attracts me, right? The only reason we were able to get him on board, like this incredible figure, right, is because he accepted to do both the SolChicks CEO and the Catheon Gaming CEO position at once, at the same time. incredible figure. There's no way we would have gotten him on had we just pitched SolChicks to him. But he would want to get on board, a platform entity that has, substance and scale, right? That's number 2. Number 3, very, very similar. We have just, and we'll announce this officially on Monday, but we've signed on 6 industry veterans, right, from some of the biggest gaming companies in the world, like Blizzard, Aristocrat, Saga, Warner Brothers, right? 6 guys. They've all each got 20, 30 years experience. These are literally the key figures of the godfathers of the gaming industry, right? And we'll actually announce the actual details of who they are on. But there's no way we would have got these guys on to be the SolChicks board of advisors. No way, right? But Catheon Gaming, an institutionalized, platform of substance. These guys, tick the box in 10 minutes after they heard about Catheon. Right? Again, a huge benefit that Ferrari doesn't have, Firewall doesn't have. Right? Huge. And then number 4, probably not the least of importance, but the plan at Catheon is that we will do what we call an institutional raise or capital raise or fundraise in June. So we're planning to kick that off on the 1st of June. The plan is to raise for Catheon as well as SolChicks in excess of $100 million that we will then be used to go and spend into all the Catheon infrastructure and as well as obviously the key leading game title in the Catheon portfolio, SolChicks. Right? We will be going to big name VCs like Sequoia, right, A16Z, and getting them to invest into the equity of the business. There's no way these guys would have done the same for a game like SolChicks. We actually talked to Sequoia and A16Z back in November, December when we were doing our token fundraise. And what they said to us? They said, we love the team, we love your passion, we love your spirit, but there's no way I can invest in a single game. It's too risky for me. What if the single game crashes, right? But, I'm very, very comfortable that not only can, when we go to, fundraise to them in just over a month's time, that they will look at a platform value and see, oh, okay, I'm not investing in a single game title, but I get to invest in over 10 different games. And, I don't have the risk of a single game going to shits, right? That's very, very attractive to a Sequoia or A16Z. At the same time, they'll be able to invest a much more greater capital than we could ever do trying to raise money, a SolChicks company by itself. If we were just SolChicks and we're trying to raise money from the biggest institutional VCs in the world, not crypto investors, let me be very clear. I'm not talking about crypto investors. Any crypto project can get crypto investors. But when I talk about the biggest institutional investors in the world, the likes of Sequoia, but also, private equity companies like, Apollo's now getting into the space, right? Bain Capital is getting into the space. These guys manage, hundreds of billions of dollars. There's no way they would have looked at a little, SolChicks project. But us selling them, a platform value game, a game ecosystem that is pumping out the highest quality game, absolutely. These guys would chuck, hundreds of millions of dollars into us. So, all those benefits are huge benefits we would never be able to get as a SolChicks standalone company, right? These are benefits that Genopets, whoever our, people call our competitors, no way. There's no way these guys would be able to get these type of benefits. If we IPO the business in, 12 months' time, right, that's something Aurori, they can only dream of, right? That would put us on the likes of like an FTX or Binance, right? One of the very few companies, crypto companies that actually have IPO'd. And guys know what happens when you IPO. You get so much recognition that, there's no coming back. So, I think that's a very long-winded answer. But I hope that answer gave you guys a bit more flavor into why we're doing this, why it's so important, and why it's so strategically, it makes a lot of sense. Now, not every single company can do this. I can guarantee you the management team they have no clue how to do this because they are not business people. They are not finance people, right? They don't think about scaling and making things bigger and, getting into the big leagues, right? That's what, I promise you, the team here, yes, we've been, yes, there's going to be, obviously, it's not the same benefits if we spent all our last 3-4 months into SolChicks alone. But the long-term goal is that we want to be a multi-billion-dollar company, of which SolChicks is going to be our flagship and first title, right? And we're going to get, whether it's the caliber of the CEO, the caliber of the board of directors or board of advisors, the amount of money we'll be able to raise to invest back into our game titles, or, the cross-pollination or the benefits that we get from getting access to, hundreds of millions of, game downloads and millions of existing traditional users that none of our competitors. I can promise you that all makes sense from a long-term perspective. So, hopefully that was that into what we're doing and why we're doing that. Okay, so I'll move on to the rest of the questions. So what can we expect to see in the marketing push? So, look, I think we've done a restructure of the marketing. I think we've started to see a lot of, the benefits come through. Obviously, one thing I just want to make sure you guys understand is we are doing marketing. We are having products out. And we are going to be spending, money where it makes sense to go spend money to do, right? But, what we're not going to do that other projects without the type of financial rigor or, business-like rigorous processes in place is we're not going to spend and waste money on things that aren't going to bring us value. And a great example of that is, last week, a big exchange, I won't call what exchange it is, but it starts with H. They came to us and one of the biggest Chinese ones, they came to us and said, hey, we'll happily list you, but you have to pay us a fee, nearly about $1 million in fees, right? Any other project, I guarantee you, they would have pulled the trigger the exact same day and just, went and listed. What we did was, when faced with making big, financial decisions like this, we actually went and did the analysis to determine if it made sense to go and list. We pulled all the exchanges' most recent listings for the last 2 months, and then we looked at the average listing price performance pre and post listing, and we found out that the average price pre and post listing price performance was actually negative 13%. All right, so if we had listed, we would have even seen a further decline in the price. And the reason why is because every large exchange, as part of you listing on them, they want marketing tokens in your Chicks tokens, and they basically give them out for free to, the existing users. And so, the conclusion is, in a market that's very choppy, like we are today, not only do we waste money and probably go backwards when we go list on a tier 1 exchange today, but we also waste our shot for listing, right, further down the line in the market, further down the track when the market is more hot, right? And the reason why, obviously, is users right now in this type of crypto environment, they're not on Binance or FTX every day looking for new coins to invest in. They're not. Right, everyone's sort of worried about their capital balance and they're worried about their wallet. But most users aren't in that mindset. And so, we want to save that for down the track when the market is more hot. And we know that $1 million that we spend will go a million times further than trying to spend it in a choppy market where, the data clearly shows that the price goes backwards. I can promise you that that's the type of financial rigor that we, put into all our processes here at SolChicks and Catheon. And that's why, we're differentiated from other companies. And that's what's going to make us last long term compared to, one of our competitors that doesn't have that type of, rigor, and they go and press one, go waste their $1 million on that type of listing today. The price goes backwards, and then 6 months down the track, when Bitcoin goes to recover, it's too late. They're already listed. They can't list the second time. So look, the marketing is coming. You guys, rest assured, we're spending time on it, but we're doing it with proper ROI. Sorry, we call it return on investment analysis. And I am never going to let this company waste money on stuff that doesn't make sense, or where we're going to lose money, or where the impact is negative. So how can we trust and be confident that the team is aligned, knowing that what they're doing forward when the whole competition can go well? So this is also a great example, right? So, I can guarantee everyone here that everything we do is for the best of the company and best for the SolChicks. I already just gave you a whole bunch of examples, right? That sets us out and really differentiates us versus our competition. The HODL is a great example of that. I don't know who actually in the team actually went and released that out, but that was never signed off by myself, right? It was never, the prizes were never signed off by myself. I would have, if you look at the prize, the grand prize was worth like $800, and then we had 100, follow-up prizes worth $500 each, right? And that would have, meant over 50K in SHIX tokens that would have been dumped into the market. I would have never signed off on that, right? So, we didn't have the right process at that time in terms of signing off like large amounts going on. I wouldn't have signed off on it because I would have been very, very acutely aware of the impact of having additional supply going into the market would have, right? And so that's why there's been a bigger back and forth, right? My push to the team is I would have given nothing out to the guys because I would, for the benefit of the project, I'm not going to let into the market more supply or a huge amount of supply going to the market, right? Now, the team actually convinced me that, hey, we should actually stick to more promises and, give a half, at least give something to them. And so, to the guys that were the winners, we actually ended up giving something, that tied into what we said we were originally did. It wasn't exactly, the best outcome that everyone would have got, but I can promise you that, the community team here cares a lot about you guys. And had I had my way, I would have given zero, right? So, I think on that competition, right, again, everything we do has to make financial sense, and everything I do is for the benefit of all holders, not just the holders of some competition that we might have, said, but clearly was incorrect when it went out. So, that's our philosophy. Again, I think we ended up coming on this particular one for a good middle ground, right? And we have now in place processes where, any type of competition where this type of size of prize would have been awarded, I have to sign off individually, right? But to give you guys context, that project was never signed off on by me. And, had I had my way, I would have said zero. It doesn't really matter because, I'm never going to let such a big amount go crash the market and, let it go into the market. So I think that in my mind, like that competition actually went well. What has the team learned up until the point they are changing and adapting in order to move the project forward and be successful? Yeah, this is a great question. There's been so much with obviously, I think you guys have started to see the benefits. I could talk about this topic for hours. But the short thing is we've completely revamped how we do marketing. We've completely revamped how we do, our communications and our processes, right? We completely revamped, how we do a lot of things. If we were, even from a technical point of view, everything is improving. Obviously, it doesn't improve overnight, but there's a lot of things that we've learned to improve and make sure that this project does do better. I think obviously we've learned, not to overhype things, from last December. But I think, I think my key learnings, definitely don't overhype certain things, or don't let the team, overhype things. Don't, promise big amounts of competition giveaway without sign off by the CEO. and try to stick to the goals and deadlines. But obviously, not everything has been perfect, and we're coming from a project where in December we were 10 people, to now we have over 230 people, including all our very valued community members, right? We're still learning, but we have come a very, very long way to those days. And, I expect everything obviously doesn't come overnight, right? But I think with the new CEO appointment, with the new board of advisors appointment, with our preparation work that we've done in preparation for our fundraise that will happen in the next in June, all the great games that we've now signed, that SolChicks will have the benefit of being able to onboard those traditional users firsthand. All of those things are now starting to come into piece, right? And those are pieces and things that no other game project has. Right? So, I obviously know the price hasn't not been as expected, and it has been disappointing. But rest assured, long term, the project is, we've done tremendous effort, right? And I would actually say no other GameFi project has made the type of progress that we've made in such a short period of time. So, I think yes, there have been hiccups and we've learned a bunch of things on the way, but all in all, we're on the right track and we're making amazing progress still. Will the third minting be using chicks and burning instead of Sol? Yes, absolutely. The intent is for all mints going forward to use chicks. The only caveat with that is that if for some technological reason we can't use chicks and we have to use Sol, we'll use Sol. And so, to give an example, we've had quite a lot of inbound. Actually, this is another great thing about Catheon. Right? These inbounds have been to Catheon, not a SolChicks. Right? So we've had inbound from, just in the last week, 3 different exchanges that are now creating their own NFT platforms. So we will have a third mint. We will probably do it on these, these are tier 1 exchanges that are creating their own NFT launchpad and primary sale launchpad, and they have millions of users. We've been talking to them. We will probably do a third mint on their platform. It will probably be a very good mint because they have they're very keen to, go against the likes of OpenSea and, Binance NFT platforms. And they are very keen to have us support. And if we go on them, obviously, with their platform, we can't be using chicks. We'll probably have to use Sol or whatever their native currency is. So, yes, we will do use chicks unless there's a good reason why not to. We wouldn't. What strategy will you use not to melt the currency? Are you thinking of blocking the loophole to avoid falling too much in the value of the token and stabilizing? I think I've talked about the strategies. I'm not sure what the loophole actually refers to. So I'll probably move on to that question. I'm not quite sure what you mean by loophole. How will we be able to be attractive enough to get more investors and players on board? Right? I think we've talked about this today in quite a bit of detail. As a person who looks to the future of crypto games, will you be able to onboard traditional gamers through an easy process to purchase NFTs using a credit card or PayPal? They can learn things like wallets, tokens, and NFTs down the road. Absolutely, right? So, right now that we are developing what we call the Catheon Gaming Center, we talked about this before. It's going to be like the theme of blockchain, and SolChicks is going to be like, the first thing when everyone sees when they get on this platform. We will have as part of that an on-ramp, off-ramp solution. That is still in development. Hopefully we can launch it in the next month or a few months. The intent is, absolutely, right? We want to be at the forefront. We do have an incredible advantage, which is no other, the actual play-to-earn games right now in development. Obviously, they're not meeting their deadlines, but also they don't have access to these, millions of traditional gamers that we do, right? By virtue of having this portfolio. We have this huge advantage. And so, we'll definitely be making the most and best use out of them. Okay, that's all of my blue questions. Jun, Alessio, Anything else I can answer? Otherwise, I'll hand it off to you guys.
These were the questions. I think it's fine. We can move maybe to the questions about the games, more related to the game that John can answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Thanks, Will, for providing some really important answers to the really frequently asked important questions. So I can start answering some game and breeding related questions now. I don't think we have much time left, to be honest, for this session, so I'll try to go through the questions relatively quickly. But before we go into answering the questions, I want to just quickly give an update on what we have achieved so far and what you can expect going forward in the near term. So we're all on the same page. So as we have announced a few days ago, we finally completed the development of the alpha version of the RPG game SolChicks Saga, as we promised in our roadmap from the very beginning. And personally, I'm very proud of this and how much we have achieved in the last 4 to 5 months. I think that was a relatively short time, but we have achieved a lot in the 5 months' time. We have the first chapter of the P2E story mode of the game completed. It's fully playable, although we're not going to be able to release this to the mass public just yet because there still exists some bug and some game economy and difficulty balancing issue that we need to be fixing going forward throughout Alpha 2 and the beta version. I mean, that's precisely the reason why we still call it the alpha version. It's the very beginning, the first version that we have developed. Anyways, this alpha version is fully compatible for both mobile and PC. So I think we really delivered the RPG game that is appealing to both casual players and hardcore gamers in the sense that as it's always been our philosophy, it's easy to learn but difficult to master RPG game. So at this rate, I believe we'll be able to release to the NFT holders to be able to play probably by June. And before then, we'll be exploring if we could give some access to some friendly NFT holders for them to test and comment when we made a bit more progress. But I think we'll be able to make announcement on that throughout May, based on how much incremental progress we make from this point on. Okay, so now we have completed the alpha version. As the first step, we'll be releasing, as we announced a few days ago, we'll be releasing a very exciting 5-minute game trailer tomorrow. It's going to show some highlights of the many parts of the game. And following that, in early May, we'll be releasing a full gameplay walkthrough video. And here, we're going to fast forward the entire gameplay and provide a verbal commentary to explain every and each part of the alpha version of the game so that everyone can really see and understand each part of what we have developed so far in the past 4 to 5 months. Yeah, so that's a short brief on what we have achieved so far and what you can expect in the near term. And I think at least so we can dig into the questions now.
Yeah, thank you so much for the update, John. Do you want me to read the questions or do you have the sheet in front of you?
It's probably faster if you read it. It's probably faster if you read it.
Okay, sure. Okay, so one of the questions I see here, let's start with this. Currently, Shard token is to be listed on the market, which it doesn't have any max supply. Can you explain why it is? So Shards, it's a utility token, as everyone knows. The only way it can be supplied to the market and be in circulation is through as rewards from the game. So in theory, there is no max supply, but we'll make sure to control the amount of shards that is in circulation, and we do that by making sure of the balance between how much gets supplied from the game and how much gets burned through breeding and other utilities I've mentioned before, things like leveling up the characters, leveling up the weapons and equipment, etc. So yeah, as you know, currently you can earn shards through the mini-game Dungeon Escape, but later on, as we make more progress in the development of the main game, and as we make progress on the integration of the play-to-earn mechanics into the game, you will be able to earn shards from there. And moving on to the next question, is cross-platform mobile development being targeted in the future? If so, when will it be released? As I've been saying multiple times in the previous AMAs as well, development of the mobile version of the game is not just a future target. we're making SolChicks RPG game, both PC and mobile version simultaneously. In the trailer, you'll see tomorrow that the game is really fully compatible cross-platform in both mobile and PC in the interface. Moving on to the next question, will breeding be possible before the game comes to public? Yes, breeding it's going to be available before the game comes live. We'll be launching it on 3rd of May. I think we have made the announcement already. And the reason why we're launching breeding before the main game comes out is really so that there is already a real utility for the Chicks tokens and Stars token. And logic is really similar to how we implemented the mini game so that there is real utility for the NFTs in the sense that you can start earning shards with the NFTs already. So you can see that what we're trying to do here is to complete the development of the token and the NFT ecosystem even before the main game is launched. And the reason why we do that is so that as soon as we finish the development of the client side of the game, we can quickly integrate all the play-to-earn functionalities we have developed already into the game. So it's so that we can deliver everything at max speed. Next question, how will you choose the alpha access holders? Yeah, I think this question has come up pretty frequently, so I'll try to answer this more fully this time. So the reason why we won't be able to release the alpha version of the game to be played by the mass public is because, as I said earlier, the game is not perfect yet in the sense that, again, there are still some bugs and there has not been much in-game economy balancing done yet, to be frankly speaking. We have been fully focusing on really developing a fully playable game with a full gameplay loop. But then there's still a lot of balancing to do going forward. I'm going to have to work very closely with the game economists and the game developers to be able to perfect that before we can start releasing to the mass public. So at this stage, if we do decide to release to the public NFT holders, there will be a lot of resources and times we have to spend for managing the server. And just like you can see in the mini game, there's going to be lots of inquiries coming from the players. And probably multiply that mini game experience by 10 times, given the fact that the scope of the main game is a lot bigger than the mini game. So we at this point, we want to really focus on developing the game so that we are able to deliver the play to earn version of the game as soon as possible. But that said, we're still exploring ways to give access to at least some friendly NFT holders, and we'll be making an announcement around that throughout May based on the progress we make. Will it be possible to choose languages, or is it an English only? Right now, the game is in English only mode, but there's still time until we release the full game, and by the time we release the full game, I'm sure we'll be able to have several language modes based on our analysis of our audience base. Next question, when do you expect to finalize the in-game tokenomics and breeding, as this is one of the only methods of burning? In brackets it says, not true burning as you're stashing away for another use later on. So I want to clarify this first. The statement, not true burning as you're stashing away for another use later on. As we have mentioned in the previous AMA, we're stashing away is probably not the right word, but we're storing it just in case we run out of the game ecosystem token. I don't think it's going to run out for the next 5 years because we're going to be very careful controlling supplying the amount of the governance fixed token. But then just in case that happens, we have to some reserved of the token in the treasury wallet. So that's why we're burning it that way. But we will also consider burning it completely if that is really the hard demand from our holders. So we will also look into that very positively. So yeah, back to the question again. Let me read it. When do you expect to finalize the in-game tokenomics and breeding? This is one of the only methods of burning. Yeah, so the fundamentals of the tokenomics and the economics of SolChicks game
was, I would say, it was already completed a long time ago. And the breeding system really has already been established. I think we have described it in detail already in the updated white paper and then the game development update blog post a few weeks ago. And that already explains a lot of the important philosophy behind the tokenomics and breeding. And well, in terms of the details of the cost of breeding, we'll be announcing that in a few days when we actually launch breeding. So you'll be able to see that on the breeding page. We'll make sure that you see it before you click on breeding, so you're fully aware of what you're paying and what you can expect the price to be for the later generations and a bigger breeding count. Well, and the rest of the details of exactly how much the chicks and shards tokens will be required for other utilities, things like leveling up and upgrading the weapons and so on. We'll still need to take some time, like I said, to really balance out the game economy first before finalizing all of these costs. And even after we finalize it, I'm sure after we release it and then continue getting comments from the game players, we'll probably have to continue adjusting that. But my point is that the philosophy, the principle, and the backbone of all these tokenomics and breeding system has already been determined. And I think, I believe personally, we have been clearly communicating that with the community. Next question: will there be a transparency wallet where the chicks tokens go to get locked up so that we see a higher price action for traders and investors to trade in the token with a breeding mechanism? Okay, so transparency wallet. Yes, we have a treasury wallet where all the chicks and shards token are stored that are used for breeding and the future utilities and the 3D egg hatching and so on and so on. I believe the token address is already public on the website, but if not, we'll try to get that up as soon as possible. And these tokens, again, as I mentioned earlier, currently we have announced that we're going to be storing it in case we need it later. But again, we'll look into this very positively in the sense that we will consider very positively whether it makes sense to completely burn it. So I guess we'll if we make a decision on that going forward, we'll make an announcement around it. Moving on to the next question: what measures will you have to entice breeders to breed so that more players will be able to enter the game via scholarship and investing into the chick token? I think really the question is how are we going to attract the investors into Chicks token? For that, I think there are many things you could list. There's so many things you could list. Things like marketing, community management, community expansion. What else is there? There's lots of things. But really, from my perspective as a game development lead, maybe it really comes down to one thing. I think is really making a great game with great game economy that really makes sense for everyone. So I think it's because utility of the Chicks token will really mainly be driven by the volume of the players and the demand for the players to play to earn in the game by engaging in various activities in the game. And I think the only way of doing that is really making a great game. And I personally believe we are really achieving it. You'll be able to see that in tomorrow's trailer and then our gameplay walkthrough video in early May. The next question: will the game be developed over many months, implementing new things while the more we improve? I can tell you right now, SolChicks game will always continue to be improved. Our game developers, I promise to you, they are really committed to continue improving the game and also managing the game at least for several years. Our partnership with all the game developers and our internal game developers, our incentive program is structured that way. So on top of that, I would say, as we have been mentioning before in the previous AMAs, we have great plans to expand on the ecosystem of the SolChicks. It will not just be SolChicks RPG, but based on the additional fundraising and also with so much things that we have achieved so far and so many additional members we have been joining in our team, we'll be able to expand on the RPG game, not only on the RPG game, but there will be various things under the SolChicks universe, including land metaverse and etc. So look out for that. We'll be making additional announcements on that going forward. Next question, will we have our own marketplace where the fee structure will be 5% of marketplace? Okay, I can just tell you now that yes, we will have our own marketplace for sure, 100%. And the reason being simply that there will be at least 80 to 100 different types of 3D weapons and equipment NFTs that can be earned through the game. And there just needs to be a marketplace for that. And I think it'll be just much more convenient if there's one centralized marketplace with great convenient UI UX that makes sense from my perspective, so that all the players can easily trade the weapons and the various in-game items they have earned from the game. So there will be a marketplace. In terms of the fee structure, we'll still have to look into this. I can not say that definitively right now, but we'll try to come up with something that makes a lot of sense. Okay, this is a lot of questions. When will scholarship be implemented so I can ask all the SolChick holders to hire me? So in terms of scholarship system, we expect... Okay. So scholarship system, we expect that to be ready in next couple of months at the latest, I would say, if not earlier. Right now, as you can see, the mini game, it only takes about 10 minutes per day per NFT to play the mini games. So we don't see that much of urgency to implement the scholarship system. So we would rather choose to be very careful about the timing of the launch rather than rushing it once we have really come up with a scholarship system that makes sense. I keep saying it makes sense, but we try to do things that make sense. So next question, during the breeding event, can I breed 2D and 3D chicks? Again, we'll try to make sure to make all of these clear on the breeding page once we launch it on the 3rd of May. But to clarify now in advance, no matter what you use to breed, the resulting NFT from breeding will always be 3D NFT. I don't think this is a mystery anymore, so I think I can openly talk about this. So just to clarify, that means even if you use two 2D NFTs to breed, the resulting NFT will be 3D NFT. Question, what's the time frame for Offspring to be integrated with minigame? I'm gonna go through the rest of the question much more quickly. You'll be able to use the Offspring NFT to play the minigame, I think, within 1 week of launch at the latest, if not immediately, upon the launch of the breeding. Next question, will minigame be closed when the alpha game is launched? We'll continue to have minigame open until a play-to-earn version of the RPG game is released, so that there's continuously the utility of the NFT and the play-to-earn ecosystem is continued to exist and then maintained. Question, when will we know what our NFT traits will do for us in the minigame? I think, as I mentioned in the earlier game blog, the NFT traits will determine a few things. These are there's the bonus primate stats and what element type the character will inherit, such as like a fire is a fire type and water type and so on. But the magnitude and the details of exactly what the stat bonus is going to be like based on the NFT trait and the rarity of the NFT trait, it's not revealed yet. For the reason that, as I mentioned earlier, we're still working on balancing of the game economy, and this is still going to take some time to perfect. Question, will there be a bigger push in marketing, advertising closer to the game release, YouTube, Twitch streamer? I think William has answered this very clearly, but I can reiterate once more that once we have this trailer out and then the longer gameplay video, we're going to do everything that we can do to push this to various influencers, our existing KOL groups and investors and so on. I think this is a very important milestone we have achieved. So we'll make sure we can utilize this with a full package of marketing. Next question, the cost of breeding will scale according to parents' generation and breeding count. Is the scaling a fixed rate? And if so, what is the fixed rate? There is a formula behind this. well, when we first launched the breeding on 3rd of May, we'll first release the table with the full cost schedule as a hard-coded number for now. But then if I see that it's necessary to explain the formula, then I'll do it. Next question, why did Chicks token... Okay, I think this is fine. Yeah, I think those are all questions.
Yeah, I mean...
So maybe it's worth opening to... Yeah, I think I kind of rushed through the last few questions. Yeah, so we can have some time to answer the questions.
We can open the floor for potential questions that our community might have. I mean, I think it's been great, and the community is super grateful, for all the answers that you guys gave. I think one of the main takeaways that market conditions are not the same as they were like in October, for example, but we are doing things differently. And we are pretty confident we can achieve our goals, not only because we are passionate about what we're doing, but also because we are competent and we know what works in this new environment. So let's open the floor after this quick consideration. I see a couple of hands in the air. Guys, we'll give maybe 5 to 10 minutes for these questions because it's already been like an hour. I hope we already answered most of the doubts and the questions that you might have. So I'm gonna just pick Mikin. Okay. You can talk. What's your question, bro?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for the minigame, putting everything on timeline. That helps out. And the main question is, when William say he steps down from CEO from both SolChicks and Catheon Gaming, that's like a concern to me. What is his position in both these entities?
Oh, I mean, I'm still going to be involved. I'm just going to become the chairman, right? It just means that you just have an additional person who's, much more credentialed, working alongside me on everything. So,
okay.
Think of it as, I'm going to chairman position. That's
I just don't want you to disappear when we're mostly here for you
absolutely,
as well.
No, absolutely not. No.
All right. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mickey. And that's great. I mean, that shows so much love for the core team. Thank you for the concern. Yeah, for sure. I mean, this additional, we're onboarding so much talent in the team, right? So everything we do is just for the best of the project. So thank you for the question. Okay, so I see many hands up in the air. So I don't know how to pronounce your name, but Buccaneers, or again, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. You can talk. What's your question, bro? Buccaneers. I invited you on the stage. Yeah.
Hi, can you guys?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So I have a quick question with regards to the WoW Chicks. So I actually purchased 3 of them, and as of right now, I can't use them to play the mini game, which is fine. I have 4 other SolChicks, but I was just curious, when am I going to be able to actually use those? Because those were advertised as having the same qualities as an actual SolChick. So I was just wondering what the timeline is. Are we going to be able to use those WoW Chicks like the second that the main game comes out?
Firstly, you should be able to. Yeah, the intention is for the WoW Chicks to be able to play in the game and earn, and also to be able to breed. If I may ask, when's the last time you checked whether the WoW Chicks can be used for the minigame? Because I think we have implemented already like a week ago.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so it was actually the first day when the game came out, and I actually had to move my normal SolChick into a different wallet because the WoW Chick was keeping that SolChick from actually playing in that wallet. Which was fine, but so now I'm able to actually play with the WoW Chick. So that's great news.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. thank you guys so much. The game is fantastic, and I can't wait to see the trailer. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Let us know if you managed to play the mini game with the SolChicks, right? And if not, just open a ticket on Discord. We're always here to help. Thank you again.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right, maybe let's take 2 more questions. Is that all right? We'll go. Oh, I like the name, so let's go with. I'm just speaking randomly, right? Mr. Fabulous. Mr. Fabulous, you can talk. What's your question, bro? You have to accept. I don't know if you saw that, we invited you on the stage. All right, maybe let's move to someone else, and we'll call you again. Maybe after. Maybe you're having some technical problems. So let's go with. Where are you? Now, guys, you have a problem with your names. What's okay? Nightscom. Probably I have a problem. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, Nightscom.
Good day, everyone.
You can talk.
Yes, first of all, I would like to congratulate you and appreciate you for all the work you've been doing so far. The only thing I want to say is I just want to call your attention regarding what happened on YouTube. I do follow Great BTC on YouTube. That's a crypto also channel. I got to know about SolChicks from him, and there was a day I asked him about what is happening with this project again. Like what he said that day was like SolChicks was something like a disappointed project. Probably the team member can get in touch with him to change his mindset about the project that is not a disappointed project, but there are so many things that is going on about the project. That's my attention for now.
All right. Not super sure.
What did you say? What did you say is the name again? Can you repeat the name again, please?
Great BTC. Great BTC is a crypto also.
Great BTC.
Crypto also on YouTube channel.
Okay. Well, let's hear. Why don't you follow up with that?
Hello,
Yeah,
can
for
you
sure. I mean, we can talk offline for sure, and we'll see. You can explain me more in details, and we can see. Okay.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
All right, let's do the last one. So, Professio 99. If you have a question, that's your moment.
Oh.
Yeah? Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So far, I think the team doing a great job. Making the game moving forward. I'm very impressed with all the especially the alpha teasers. It looks very, very, very impressive. Okay, but only one thing I like the team to know is when you announce something, you should keep they should keep their words. Okay, I'm still waiting for my weapon NFT rewards from the whole Chicks campaign. All right, and even the $500 worth of Chicks as well. And for some reason, today I just found out that the $500 worth of Chicks is not going to be going to be valid anymore. It's going to be 500 worth of NFT, and I couldn't find any announcement anywhere in regarding to that. Hello.
Okay. Well, why don't you have a chat with Papa? If you can just email him or message him, because Papa and I have already discussed the solution for that.
Yeah, I just want the the team to whatever they announce, we supposed to know. I mean, like, it just comes out of the blue, and then it just say, look, we're not going to give you, we're not going to keep our words, and then we just change our words. I mean, and how long did it be before?
Okay, have a chat with Papa, because that's not what we me and him discussed. I think that's incorrect.
Oh, is that because when I talked to Papa, and he said that's true, but I just found out today that instead of having a $500 worth of chicks reward, it's going to be $500 worth of NFT reward. And I asked him, so where about the announcement? Is there anywhere showing that kind of change? And because I myself couldn't find it anyway, right? So it's just a small thing.
Yeah. So have a chat with Papa, because what we've discussed is that you have a choice, right? There is a chicks, but there will be a I mean you have a choice. So.
Yeah, sure. And then
just message Papa.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, another thing is if you guys just make one reward to finish off first before you move on to the next one, like, because even with a whole chick campaign rewards, it's not even done yet, and then it's all other things that comes out, the price and rewards come out, and we're still waiting. I mean, like, how long it take for such a small thing to be done? You know what I mean? So I think
but this is I've talked about this, right? So this is not a small thing, right? I mean, this is a huge thing versus our other prizes that we're awarding, right? And I have to take in mind, like, for all holders, we can't let a big supply of chicks come onto the market, and that's why we've come with this compromise that Papa has, right? So this is not a small thing. This is actually a really big thing. I mean, it might seem small to you, but in terms of the amount of winners that we had, and the number of people eligible for it, this whole campaign is something that we've had to work through. So
sure.
And the reason where it's taking a long time is because I'm trying to think about all SolChicks and chicks holders, not just the winners of the prize, right? Obviously, if everyone got what they wanted, the price will crash, right?
Yeah, I understand. Just because I want the team to be to look good, to people holder or people investor or whoever look at the team in a good way. Say, look, these guys keep their words, because they can't change.
Yeah,
you can't. Do you know what I mean? So in the long run, it's going to be a lot of rewards and competition and prizes. So if you can't get one thing done right, then what about all the others in the future? You know what I mean? So I just want to say, like, just get one thing done first. Get it out of the way, whatever it is, and then move on to the next one. Because I can see that when I go onto Telegram or Discord, I can see there's a lot of people talking about it. I mean, like, yeah, and then there's people who has won prizes before, and they still haven't got it. So this little thing, and it just is showing, the public, the credibility of the team. You know what I mean? So I know the team doing a great work so far. Okay, I just have to rephrase what I said before. You are doing an impressive work in such a short amount of time. Okay, so I'm looking forward to see the video, released maybe tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, and hopefully, it will live up to my expectation.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, mate. Thank you. That's all for now. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you for your feedback, Professor. I mean, we always appreciate any kind of feedback. We're not perfect. We try to always give our best, and I'm sure you won't be disappointed when you'll see the hard work that led to the Alpha Game trailer, right? So please look forward to that. And thank you again for your question and your feedback. Okay, I think we're done, right? That's been a great AMA. It's been amazing, all the amount of information that you give us and to the community. Kind of overwhelming, actually. We answered, I think, 30 questions. Is there any like final words you want to say, June or Will, so we can wrap this up?
Well,
maybe
not from my side. I mean, I'll pass it to June. I think he's done an incredible job last month too, and I think a lot of you are going to be pleased when the alpha video comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a closing remark that the development team, our team of 25 people from the game development side and the 10 people from the blockchain side, we're really working around the clock, no holiday, working even on the weekends to really meet the deadlines, because we know that, living up to the expectation is very important, and then keeping up with the roadmap, what we promised, is very important. And then we promise you that we'll deliver a game that is not just only fun, but with a play to earn ecosystem that really makes sense. I use this word "makes sense" a lot, but that's really what we are targeting. And then, so this is the first milestone to that, the alpha version completion, and our gameplay video tomorrow, and then the early May. And after that, we'll be slowly releasing a playable version that can be played by the NFT holders. We'll try to do that on a monthly basis from June, so that maybe we release it for a week for people to test out and then give comments, and then we incorporate those comments, and then we improve the game. We release another version a month after, until we are able to release a fully play-to-earn version of the game later this year. So thanks for the support. We'll continue working hard. And then please look out for the alpha trailer tomorrow. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Great to have you all.
Thank you, June.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, William. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.